My topic is vector in R programming. And data, data structures in R programming, mainly vectors, matrix, data frames, factors, and lists. Today we'll discuss the vectors in R programming. R is the basic data structure which plays the important role in R programming. The main data structure in R is the vector. In R, sequence of elements which share the same data type is known as vector. Vector is the one-dimensional array. Array is the ordered collection of homogeneous data elements. This homogeneous means same category. A vector supports logical, integer, double, character, complex, and raw data types. The elements of the vectors are contains is known as components. We can check the type of vector, use the function type of, use the type of, which type of the vectors, creating a vector, accessing the elements of a vector, vector operations, applications of a vector. Use the length function to find the elements of a vector. The length is the important property of a vector. A vector length is basically number of elements in a vector and calculated with the help of the using length function. Vectors can be classified into two types, atomic vector and list. They are the common properties of a vector is function type, function length, attributes of a functions. Vectors can be classified into two types, atomic vector and list. There is the only difference between atomic vector and list. In the atomic vector, all the elements with the same type, but the list of the elements of the different data types. In this section, I will discuss the atomic vector. First, how to create a vector in R. Vector creation using the COF function. Vector creation using the COF function. In R, use the COF function, creating a vector. This function returns the one-dimensional array or simply vector. Syntax of the one-dimensional array. Array name, data type, size. The COF function is the generic function which combines its arguments. All the arguments are restricted with a common data type, which the type of the return values. There are various types of vector. Create a vector in R. There are the following. The vector, we can create a vector with the help of the colon operation. They are the following syntax of the colon operation. Some z equal to x colon y. This operation create a vector with the elements x to y and assign to the z. Example, a equal to 4 is to minus 10. Some displaying the a, displaying the elements of a vector 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, minus 6, minus 7, 8, 9, and 10. Using the sequence function, also create a vector. In R, we can create a vector with the help of the sequence function. A sequence function create sequence of elements as a vector. This sequence function is used to two ways. By the setting step size, parameter are specifying length of a vector with the length of a vector. Some sequence vector equal to SUQ 1, 4, 5 equal to 0.5. Displaying the vector, sequence of the vector, and type of the vector displaying class of a vector. The output of the vector is 1.0, 1.5, 2.0, 2.5, 3.0, 3.5, and 4.0. Atomic vector. There are the four types of atomic vectors. Atomic vector plays an important role of data science. Atomic vector are created with the help of the CF function. The atomic vector are follows. Types of the atomic vector: integer type, character type, logical type, and numeric type. First one, numeric vector. The decimal values are known as numeric data type in R. We assign the decimal value to a variable D. Then the D variable will become a numeric type. A vector which contains numeric element is known as numeric vector. Some D equal to 40.5. Displaying the class D, displaying the vector numeric. Some integer vector. The non-fraction numeric value is known as integer data. The integer data is repeated by int. The int size is 2 bytes. The length of the size of 4 bytes. There are the two types to assign the integer value to a variable by using the as.integer function and appending of L to the value. A vector which contains integer elements is known as integer vector. D equal to as.integer 5, E equal to 5L. Int vector, int VEC equal to C of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Int vector as.integer int VEC. Int VEC 1 equal to C of 1L, 2L, 3L, 4L, and 5L. Some displaying the class D, class E, class int VEC, class int VEC1. All the outputs are displaying the integer. Some integer using the as.integer and appending L, 5L, using the capital L. Some character vector. The character is held to the 1 byte, an integer in the memory. There are two ways, two different types of creative character data type using the character function and by the using string between double quotation or single quotation. Some T equal to Ravi and E equal to Gopi and F equal to 65, G equal to as dot character of it. Displaying the D, E, F. Some character value, C of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The output displaying the values, some characters. Output displaying the values, character. Next, logical vector. The logical data types have only two values, just displaying the true or false. These are values are basically on which the condition is satisfied. A vector which contains Boolean value is known as logical vector. Suppose, for example, A equal to 10, B equal to 20, A less than B, displaying the true. This type of vector is logical vector. Accessing the elements of a vector, we can access the all elements of a vector which help of the vector indexing. The indexing denotes the positions where the value of the vector is stored. Indexing will be performed with the help of the integer character or logical. Indexing with the integer vector, indexing with the character vector, indexing with the logical vector. On the integer vector, index is performed in the same way we have to apply it in C, C++, and Java. They are the only difference between C, C++, and Java. The index value start with 0, but R index value start with 1. Like other languages to perform indexing by specifying the integer value and square brackets. Vector operations. there is there are various operations performed displayed within the vector. We can add, subtract, multiply, division, two or more vectors in each other that in a data science. R plays the important role and operations are required in the data manipulation. They are the following type of operations which performed on a vector. Combining the vectors, arithmetic vector, logical index vector, numeric index, duplicate index, range of index, out of order index, named vector members. First one, combining the two vectors. In C of function is not only used in the create a vector, but also used to the combining the two vectors. By combining of one or more vectors in the form of new vector, which contains all the elements of each vector. Let us see an example is the C of function. Some P equal to C of 1, comma 3, comma 4, comma 5, comma 7, comma 8, and Q equal to C of some choose the names and single quotation. Some R equal to C of P comma Q. Some displaying the combining the two vectors, the output displaying the combining the two vectors. Next, arithmetic operations. We can perform all arithmetic operations on a vector. The arithmetic operations performed member to member of a vector. We can add, subtract, multiply, division. Two vectors, let us see an example. Understand the arithmetic operations performed in a vector. Some A equal to C of 1, comma 3, comma 5, comma 7, and B equal to C of 2, comma 4, comma 6, comma 8. Some operations D equal to A plus B, E equal to A minus B, and F equal to A multiply B, and G equal to A division, A modulo B. Some outputs are displayed. Logical index vector only displaying the true value or false value. Numeric index. In R, we can specify the index between the square brackets for indexing numeric value of your index is the negative. It will return all the values except for indexing which they have specified. For example, specifying -3 will perform in R to convert -3 into absolute value, then sets the value which occupies the index. Some Q equal to C of character, choose the character vector and numeric indexing Q of 2, Q of -4, Q of 15, Q of 2 displaying the output, and Q of -4 displaying the 0 to -4 range values from Q of 15. Q of 15 is not given, some NA, null value. Some duplicate index. An index vector allows the duplicate values, which means we can access one element in twice in operation. Let us see the example. Understand the duplicate index. Some displaying the duplicate index two times displaying the same value.